What up? What up, y'all? Salute, BuckCity Reloaded. We back in the building. Dickie Foster, Bolio Jocko. What up? Havoc. Let's get it in. Smash that like button. Just got to put in them reps. Let's get some cold reps today. Ain't nothing planned. Drop them questions. Questions y'all got around the community. Different things. This is the Wake and Bake Show. If you're like me, you're just getting up. Getting it going. Salute everybody in them boots, getting ready to get them dogs together. You know, that's where the hard work gets put in. Bolio Jocko, what up, brother? Let me get that info for you. Get that info. You know, we got to keep it in, y'all. Still the winter time. We still got weeks to go, right? Around this time, it's, you know, you should be trying to get those products for that spring and summer bloom. When all the fleas and the ticks and everybody's come back, right? Smash that like button. Throw a dog a bone. There go the link right there, Bolio Jocko, in the chat. In the Rap TV, what up, brother? Jersey in the building. Salute. Salute, everybody. Salute to the guys networking, man. I've reached out to a couple guys, man. You know, people been appreciating the work. I know that, you know, I reached out to some cats, you know, just about some magazine content, and they honored, man. You know, that's a good feeling, man. Because I be in my own bubble. I'll be honest with you. I mean, my guys, if you talk to me on a day-to-day, you already know, like, we don't even gotta go live or nothing. You know, this shit's lit every day. You know, always some action. You know, always some action going on, and plenty to chop it up about. So I don't really get into all that status and, you know, everything. I try to be the best that I could be, right? You know, I try not to copy nobody else's template and, I try to be as original, as well rounded off as possible. You know what I'm saying? I know a little bit about a lot of shit. You know, I know just a little bit about a lot of shit. You know, that's pretty much me wrapped up. You know what I'm saying? Lamont Grant, what up, brother? Salute. Yes, sir. You know, those Seahawks, you know, I don't know what's going to happen. I've seen the Patriots just sneak by and pull off a lot of miraculous things in their past history. Them being a team growing up, the Patriots were trash. When I was 9, 10 years old and stuff, you know what I'm saying? The Patriots, they wasn't good. That team, I think they went to a Super Bowl. I think they lost to the Bears in the Super Bowl. I think that was the Doug Flutie days. It might have been like 85 or something, bro. That was a long ass time ago. And so I never really thought that they would even get to where they're at. I remember them having 1 and 2 game winning seasons and stuff, So they came through with the Tom Brady era. And they're able to scrape up more Super Bowls than any other franchise, So I don't know what's going to happen. I hope everybody is enjoying it. Make sure you guys go to that What the Helly TV after the game, because we're going to be going up over there after the game. It's going to be it's going to be epic, man. We're going to make sure we get that. We will schedule that. So after the game, be ready. I'll probably have the notifications and everything already set. We don't know who's going to win the game, but it'd be good to chop it up afterwards with the Bulldog community and, answer some more questions or whatever. You know what I'm saying? He said, as a extreme disappointed Jets fan, I'm rooting for Darnold. Yeah. Yeah. Darnold, if he was a dog, I say he's above average dog. I would say that Sam Darnold is an above average dog with a great owner, right? And a great reputation, a great winning reputation, a great owner. I don't see Darnold coming back down 15 or down 17 points. As much as we don't like to say it, sometimes you're down fucking 20 points in a game. Even historically, we talk about these dogs. From what I've heard, you can't always tell who's going to win on the first 10, 20 minutes, man. You can't really always tell. It is a lot of times the guy that you think is winning at that point, a lot of times don't win the shit. Okay. Let that sink in. That's just historical. I was reading some old Jack Kelly books and stuff, old journals. Janae Johnson, what's going on? Top of the morning, everybody. Smash that like button. We getting it in. We could get a Q&A going. You guys could drop a few questions. We get it going about dogs exclusively, unless it's about football. Super Bowl, football time. We could definitely talk about that. But yeah, drop some questions about dogs, man. About these animals, the upkeep, the care, different things. Maybe it's a question that you've been wanting to know, or something that came up, or a debate that popped up, anything. Or I could just smoke the dro and just dip. That's how I'm gonna start doing my wake and bakes. It's gonna be easier like that on this channel, you know what I'm saying? Because you guys already know what it is. As soon as I go up, and I'm gonna just chop it up, maybe one current event, and then we just gonna talk dogs, and if however it go. But if we ain't talking, we just gonna smoke, and when the joint's gone, I'm gone. You see that smoke coming out of that cutlass, you dig? Come on, man. He said, Donald ability is A's, but his mental just ain't a 10. You said his ability, huh? Hard and finished. I like to debate that, brother. Mm. He does. I mean, that is a good debate though, because he does have he does have good ability. I guess I could say, you know. I just think he does, like he said, he doesn't have the mental um that I would like to see. Of course, I'm a Patrick Mahomes fan, so if you get to see the best of the best all the time, your standards are going to be really high. I'm a LeBron James fan, so you're not really caring about the mediocre dudes too much when it comes to anything, picking out dogs, picking anything, right? I told you it's the type of person that you are. It's gonna allow you to only have good things. You don't want bad things, right? So that dog man might have some of the most exclusive dogs that you could find, you know. Musician in the building, what up? Salute, my brother. Actually, you guys got saved by the day since nobody want to drop no questions. My guy, I get these questions in the back street too. They want me to bring them up. This was on What the Helly. That's when we were talking about breeding psychotic dogs, different remedies and things that come across. Um, you want to get the breeding done. You don't want to be bullshitting around. And sometimes those dogs are too aggressive. And so you gotta have, I mean, at least 20 different remedies, right? It just can't be one thing. You try one thing, you try another thing, and then you just give up. I see a lot of people doing that. They'll try it one way, try it another way, and then it's like, damn, all right, let's try it back the first way again. You know what I'm saying? And then if that doesn't work, the breeding doesn't happen, right? So that's always good to troubleshoot and share ideas with everybody. That's basically what we did. Believe it or not, I mean, working that dog, I get it. A lot of people don't never done that, but it it has worked in times where we had those dogs. It was just unbearable, right? And you don't want to work the hell out of him at a rapid speed to where he's just burning, and getting hot, and you know what I'm saying, but a good workout just to get that just so he's not a full tank of energy is going to be good. If that's his walk, if you're up to if a 2 mile walk, a mile up and a mile back gets him good and calm, right? Maybe he hasn't been working. And a dog that hasn't been working, a 2 mile walk, unless he's just working the chain all the time, 2 mile walk is pretty decent. And if it's not, do the 4 mile walk, right? You're about to get the breeding done. The breeding is far more priceless if you're breeding the right shit than whatever it's gonna take you to fucking walk the dog 4 miles or whatever you're doing, right? to burn some energy off that dog so where he can actually focus, you know. So that was one I just definitely want to highlight because it definitely works. Well, it has worked. I'm not going to say that it's an end all be all, but I use the method. Um, there's a lot of information that I haven't tried, and I got it from other people, and I pass it along, and it works. But this one is one that I experienced, so that works. Also, okay, rape, grooming stand, illegal because it oftentimes mentioned when guys get in trouble. Um, this is another good question right here that we didn't get to last time. And I said it because, like, we were just on Amazon. Let me see if I can get this up here. I don't think it should be illegal. Now, you know, you got to bring it to your lawyer's attention about all this stuff. You know, when they try to use that stuff, you got to give the lawyer ammo because 9 times out of 10, the lawyer's not going to know how to defend you. That's how this works. This is like that, those circus games when it comes to, you know, when it comes to law enforcement and everything, you know, it's like a circus too. You know, you got to understand that. It's going to get real circus around here. Let me see. Okay. So breeding stand, right? That's a breeding stand right there, ain't it? Is that can somebody help me out? My eyes are kind of fucked up. Is that a breeding stand? Okay. So this is what they'll do. They'll try to, damn, bank. Let me get that. Let me get that monetized. So that's what they'll do to you, bro. You know, I'm just giving you the game. They're gonna try to say that that breeding stand and this and that, but you got to understand that they're really not gonna want, and this could be some game for somebody. It's probably gonna go over a lot of people's head. I'm obligated to, basically I could be a rich man if I didn't tell people shit, right? But they're really gonna frown upon the ones that are homemade. They try to do that. So your lawyer is gonna have to explain this. Like, this is gonna have to be something that's gonna be explained. Um, because they don't understand. They just see it. It looks like wood. It look, you know, some hard metal, right? And it's just not gonna look good to the eye of the tree hugger, of the law enforcement, of animal control. You know, they already think that you're fighting the dog. You got to understand that it's not like a mutual thing, and just, you know, that's out the window. Like when they come to you, sorry to say, but when they come to you, they're already thinking that you're fighting the dog. It's not the other way around. It's not like they treat you like a human, and then it's just so much overwhelming plain sight stuff that they see. They're already coming in the situation looking for a dog fighting ring, looking for this type of stuff. So if they see a breeding stand, that's 100% fact that they're going to try to use that against you and try to say that you're using it for fighting. Okay. You understand me? Hold up. What is this one on, man? Am I on? I thought I was on the BuckCity. Let's get it in, man. Check something out real quick. Okay, so I'm on the what the hell? Fuck. That's cool. I wanted to do the BuckCity today, but it's all good. It's all good in the hood. You dig? Drop them questions, man. What's going on? So they sell the breeding stand on Amazon, bro. That's a product that these things and all of this. They can't easily just use that. I didn't know. I didn't know that they had them on there. Just plain sight. There you go. There's another one right there. All these different dogs. So these guys ain't getting in trouble. What's the difference between this little fucker right here being on this motherfucker getting bread and your dog on one of these getting bread? Right? I mean, I don't know what to call it. I don't want to, start alluding to other shit, but it's just kind of fishy. Like these other dogs can get on them perfectly fine. It's no problem. But the APBT, if you got one of those, you probably ain't used it in 2 years. They took one out of my house. Rape kid, all this shit. They're just 2 paragraphs about the shit. Like, come on, man. Come on. You don't have me doing no illegal shit, bro. That's what they'll do. So you got to educate your lawyer. That's a thing about that, because their lawyers, they don't know how to defend you, especially if you got a lot of dogs, because an average human doesn't have a lot of dogs. So you got to look at it from that lens, especially in the area that you're in. Some people got dogs in okay, so in my area, if there's a high crime or a high drug area, really high drug area, it'll be called a soda area, right? So that's an area, that's a different type of area. You know, you get caught around those areas, you know, they're gonna shake you up, right? Versus, you know, if you're somewhere else in the country, right? They might not be so, it might not be so common that you just got people just with their pants hanging down, you know, caught slipping on a daily basis. You know, you hear about it. It'll happen to somebody, you know, here or there, but it's not just like on a daily basis to where that's what they're looking for. Everybody, the media knows what to look for now. Before they didn't know. You could have as many barrels, as many dog houses, dogs on chains. You could do pretty much whatever you want. And it wasn't looked at automatically like a dog fighting establishment like it is today, right? And some of the breeders and what we got to go through, you know, I know we like to glorify some of the old timers and shit, but it's about time that we put some flowers on our own self. You know what I'm saying? Like, because we're, in my opinion, you know, we're keeping these dogs in the most troubling times that you could possibly be in, right? And still coming out with good dogs, right? A lot of those old dudes would have tapped out. You know, they're just tapping out, bro. Their wife's not having it. They're just gonna tap out. There's only a small percentage of diehard dog men that's gonna die with these motherfucking dogs, right? That's a different breed. You understand me? Wake and bake. Hey man, what the hell? I thought this was BuckCity Reloaded, but hey, it's what the helly, man. We could really get it popping now. It's what the helly. What the helly? What up, Ween Mune? What up? He said the economic history of the APBT surpasses most high-paying jobs of the day. Yes, sir. Hey, you know, 1978, Lloyd. What up? You know, tap in, everybody. Tap in. Let's get something in here. Get ready to dive back into the world of the American Pit Bull Terrier with APBT Magazine, Volume 1, Reloaded. We've taken the original classic, packed it with brand new pages, fresh insight, and even more legendary stories. It's everything you love, reloaded. Grab your copy now on Amazon and keep the spirit of the true APBT alive. Yes, sir. Hey, get on Amazon, Amazon.com. Just type in APBT. It's simple. It's simple. We're getting it down to business. We're gonna figure out the science behind everything and plug everything in. salute the haters that don't support, but you constantly want to steal swag. You know, you constantly want to try to do your YouTube like mine and shit. And you know what I'm saying? Different shit like that. Constantly just, you know, like I admire somebody that pays homage and like, yeah, man, you know, I'm trying to do my shit. You know, like come correct, bro. Don't just sit back and hate on a motherfucker. Don't want to support a motherfucker. But then you just try to just carbon copy with a motherfucker. See, one thing about me, nobody can never copy me, bro, ever. You know, because I will shift gears on you so fast, brother. You don't understand. You don't understand, man. You know, I'm a different animal. You know, I'll shift gears on you real quick and be jumping to something else before you know it. Well, you done spent your whole life trying to copy that. Right? It's a chameleon, man. You know, it's really a chameleon man. We just adapt, whatever it is. Only thing we don't adapt to is this new snitch and dry snitch culture. That's the only thing we don't adapt to, man. Okay? You know, so just remember that. Just remember that when you out, yeah, we on what the helly, man. We can get it lit. We can get it lit. Red Bobby, what up, brother? He said, can we hear that too fast this morning? That too fast. That joint's hot, huh? That joint's hot. That too fast be slapping.
Drop fast, move too flip too fast. Ain't no such thing too fast for me. Drop too fast, move too fast, live too fast. Ain't no such thing as too fast.
Money's always on my mind, so I'ma get it. And if it makes sense, then you know I'm down with it. Cause people say I drive too fast, move too fast, live too fast. Ain't no such thing as too fast. I got it coming in like Usain Bolt. You want that dope? You gon' get what you pay for. Telling me I move fast, but I think you move slow. Time waits for no man. Gotta get that new dough. Just dropped off the last batch. I got a new loaf. Had to double back cause he called and needed 2 more. Maybe I be driving too fast for that quad. It's coming in too fast. I pray it don't stop. Cause I was on the bottom, gotta climb to the top. Used to rock hand-me-downs, now I'm handy on the block. I came up off the rock like Sean. I'm a whole lobster, y'all prawns. You fucking with a king, y'all ponds. And for that 25, you get that Barry Bonds. Cause people say I drive too fast, yeah, too fast, live too fast. Ain't no such thing as too fast. Money's always on my mind, so I'ma get it. And if it makes sense, then you know I'm down with it. Cause people say I drive too fast, move too fast, live too fast. Ain't no such thing as too fast. I got it coming in like Usain Bolt. You want that dope? You gon' get what you pay for. Hey, move, bitch, get up out my way like Luda. Carpool lane by myself for the Gouda. One twitch, you could get blacked by a shooter. Real fast, come up in your house like an intruder. Drive 110 in the 60. Hand over that money first, you ain't about to jit me. Gotta keep that blick on my lap cause it get tricky. Keep both eyes open in these streets cause it get iffy. I need them blue avatars. Nigga, what you travel for? I was moving fast, shopping in that travel lodge. Or that days in, waiting till them days in. I'm blessed I made it this far, this shit's amazing. But people say I drive too fast, move too fast, live too fast. Ain't no such thing as too fast. Money's always on my mind, so I'ma get it.
Hey, man. Get it, man. Beats by Rebel. Yeah, I think you could go to YouTube. Beats by Rebel. He got a lot of that heat on there Just type it in just like that. Beats by Rebel. And he's got a lot of old shit though. Like most of the shit is like old shit, but crazy hot. Like I don't know when that Too Fast song was made. I really don't. I know it's not new. Like that song is it's pretty fucking old. You know what I'm saying? So hey man, it just if you got talent, I guess that it never fades. It just never fades. Attack of the Grifters. It's grift season. I mean tax season. The grift gets, the grift pops up. People, now all of a sudden they got this special pup and shit that, oh, I wasn't gonna sell this, but man, come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. We know what the grift is, man. We know what it is, man. We saw you buy those dogs last year, bruh. See, they think just because we're on YouTube, we're stupid, right? Like we clearly seen you buy that dog 6 months ago, bro. You know, like to somebody else, they probably thought you raised it from a pup and did a couple breedings with it. But we're not stupid though. We got the dog from. Somebody do be running around flexing and shit, just get a dog. And next day, now you all of a sudden know so much about the breeder and all this. Bro, you just met him, bro. Don't lie. You don't gotta lie to kick it. Hemi James, what up, brother? You don't gotta lie to kick it, brother. Then we got Officer fucking Hirsch. Still ain't said why he kicked the wire up under the car. Damn. Like I would have thought after all these months you would have deaded that shit or at least said something, bro. But that's what type of community this is. Dudes, they still watch them. They want to watch them because they feel, I don't know what they feel. I'm gonna tell you this. I'm not gonna watch you. If I find out you're a snitch, I'm not watching you. You feel me? I'm not supporting you. I'm not thinking nothing. I'm not forgetting about that. That's a character flaw. This man don't give a fuck about nothing, no integrity, nothing, but want to be around real niggas. Make it make sense. You feel me? So it's thorough season over here, man. No busters allowed. I'm keeping that. I don't give a shit. This ain't who you thought. See, that's the problem. You motherfuckers think it's who you thought. You thought it was one of these dog men that, they'll just let a motherfucker slap the shit out of him and shit. That's not me, homie. That's not me. I'm not bowing down. I tell you, I'll be all on your ass, bro. Straight up. So That's why I come with, a large amount of humility, man. I stay humble. I know that what goes up must come down. I understand that, man. I understand karma. I understand God's plan. Everything ain't gonna be easy, but that don't mean that you just give up and quit at everything, right? So tap that like button. Soul Power, what up, brother? So get them dogs, get to them dog shows. Do something positive. Don't let them write the narrative on you. You're not a fucking dog fighter. You're doing shit with your dogs. You're proving it. They could do whatever the fuck they want to do. But if you come up in that courtroom with all that proof of everything you've been doing with your dogs, I bet you they're not going to put this video in there. Hey, Your Honor, look what he said on this video. I don't fight dogs. I don't want to be a part of that shit. That shit is dumb. Okay? Play that in court. Play BuckCity saying that I don't got nothing to do with. All I want to do is have good bred dogs and be happy and live happily ever after, man. That's it. I don't want to be driving, trying to GPS where the dog fight is at. Right? Not trying to hook up with dudes that I just met last year and shit and 2 years ago to hook up and do some fighting with dogs, bro, in 2026, bro. And some of you old motherfuckers need your ass beat because you know better. You know better. I could see a young motherfucker under 25. I could see a young motherfucker because young motherfuckers, when I was young, I didn't listen. I'm going to be honest with you. I was one of, you couldn't tell me shit. You couldn't look at me for more than 2 seconds, 5 seconds. If you look at me for 5 seconds, that might have been that 1 second too long, brother, for your ass. I had a lot of anger inside, a lot of pent up aggression, when I was young, until you find out that motherfuckers don't really give a fuck about you. That's when you realize that you're really out here on your own, man. It's time to be humble and take on the world for what the world is, not for what section you from or what, you know what I'm saying? That's growth and development. Clifton behind enemy lines. What up, brother? Getting it in. Getting it all the way in, man. It's what we do. It's what we do. Wake and bake. Put in that work. Let the results handle themselves. Oh shit. Man, that's a good question, Lloyd. He said, who you got ranked higher on an imaginary all-time favorite list? Zebo, Jeep, or Mayday? Shit, all-time fave. It definitely ain't Zebo. I tell you that. Um, and people got their reasons why they. Sometimes you don't got to explain why you don't like certain bloodlines. Um, I'm not saying I don't like them. I just the ones I saw, and I had one. I had a heavy Zebo bitch. I wouldn't say that she was. Her pedigree was worth more than she was. I'd say that. We'll just put it like that. Her pedigree. She's bred good. People wanted that bitch. Dude got that bitch right now. You know, uh, and we all know what she is. But just the ones I came through with the Zebo dog, I just don't think their representation can even be in the same sentence as Jeep and Mayday, because Jeep and Mayday actually had the chance to produce just, to me, just out of this world numbers. And shit, maybe the Zebo line did do pretty good, but you don't really hear Zebo no more. You don't. I hear some of these new dogs. I hear a lot of these new dogs popping up, taking over bloodlines, the Caradas and things like that. I put Carada over Zebo. I will. That's just my opinion, though. So Jeep and Mayday. Wayne said Jeep first in his book. Okay. It's kind of hard not to pick Jeep, when you got everybody's gun to your head, waiting on you to say Mayday. I could feel it. I could feel it. I'm going with Jeep, Would they say be a coward for a second? I'd rather be a coward for a second than dead for the rest of my life. Let that sink in. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Jeep, man. I mean, although Mayday does. I mean, Mayday is responsible for some of the most prolific buck dogs of today. So not only, in my opinion, has Mayday been able to make a lot of noise, but has been able to sweep through and carry bloodlines. And no, I'm not taking no shot to the Gaston and all those other buck lines that don't have the Mayday, but would those dogs have reached the notoriety that they are today without Buck? And I mean, without Macho Buck, pretty much in a nutshell, as far as notoriety, fame. And they did produce a lot of dogs. We're talking about Mayday himself produced a lot of dogs. Neither one of them, as far as they all missed. They all had dogs. I saw a dude. A dude was on Facebook, and he said there was a breeding that was done. Good breeding. Some frozen semen or something. And he said basically, damn what the dog is, because it got a whole lot of ROMs and PORs up front. It must be this or that. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. That's asinine. Because if you're looking at it from a historical perspective, most dogs, they made ROM after they died. So you had to breed the dogs of that day. I was talking to my guy about the Luke Kane dog. And yeah, we see it popping up in a lot of pedigrees and as of late, and even the haunch dog and dogs like that. And people put all the merit on the dog because he comes off a haunch or Luke Kane or even Hollingsworth Bull, right? All of them, right? I wouldn't put Hollingsworth Bull on Luke Kane's level though, right? He's probably on, yeah. I don't know where I want to put him in those three. But if you've seen those dogs back in the day and you've been around dogs and you've been around Jeep dogs or Honey Bunch dogs, they all weren't worthy to be bred. They all weren't producing dogs. So what happens is people think just because you put frozen semen in a dog, that dog that is birthed off of that frozen semen, just because it's off of this dog, it automatically is just going to be a good producer. This is, that's false, bro. And if I said some shit like that, which I know I didn't, I apologize. But yeah, I mean, we seen those dogs, man. We seen a lot of those dogs. And I'm gonna just say that the dogs of today have gotten a lot better. I just keep it at that, And if you didn't see 10 of them off of Luke Kane, I don't even want to hear your assessment. See, that's where we're gonna start going here. Right. I had a Luke Kane dog tied up at the smoker's house. You feel me? So we'll just put it at that. We seen these dogs and they couldn't just get a pass just because they were off of that dog. They couldn't. The dog, it wasn't that potent. It wasn't every damn dog popping up, good ass dog, to where this dog is just producing such amount of good dogs that we're just like draws dropping, right? That's what I'm talking about. That's the only time you could just say, okay, well, this frozen semen, this shit's gonna work. And every dog that you get out of here is gonna be able to build your program, and there's nothing else better that you can implement to change that. This is what it is, you know. That's a sign of kennel blindness, bro. And it's a sign that you're lying to yourself. You feel me? But them is the arguments that we have on the back streets. Because me personally, I don't just think any dog, just based on his pedigree alone, is deemed to be, because some of them just throw trash. That's another thing. Some of them just throw trezash. And if you got to breed it 100 different ways just to get a good dog, I mean, that's, to me, that's not a good dog right there. It's not. 601, what up, brother? Crockett, what up? Salute y'all, man. So, yeah, but I'm gonna put Luke Kane over Hunch though, because this Hunch, you know, he wasn't bred as much. The production's just not there. It's never has been, really. You know, you got to analyze these things, and we could blame it on who owned the dog and how many times he got bred, and you know, all of this. We could blame it on that, but at the end of the day, do you got a key to be on this tier or that tier or this tier? We don't give a fuck about what, you know. If you're going to be on the top tier, then you're going to have top tier accolades, right? So you can't put dogs on top tier that don't have the accolades. He said that ain't our TGC. I know that's right. But that, you know, and that's the grift. That's the grift. You know, you should just be honest. Or, you know what? I don't know how he's going to produce, but he got two sisters that produce really good. And when I crossed them with this dog right here, they came out this way. So I'm going to do this. It's a similar type of breeding. You know, it's high hopes. You're just hoping that they work out good. Whatever somebody's using it for, you just hope that the dog exceeds the expectations. You know, if you expected to get a dog that was you know, just doing a couple of things, and you know, this dog can do everything, you know, like that's what I want. You know, you should feel like you got a tool, a piece that, you know, this dog is somebody, and a notoriety, because people around, they know with the work that was put in. You know, you pull up to them dog shows with them Michael Myers dogs, you know. For one, they're gonna be beautiful. For two, they're not gonna be standing in between your legs. You know, they're gonna be screaming. And as long as it ain't pushed all the way back like my hairline, you know, I could say, yeah, you know, it's a Mike dog. Come off of two direct kids right now. That's the sauce that's about to hit for this summer. You know, if it's pushed back, I've been seeing, you know, good dogs. It's pushed back, but we can't really say it's Mike dogs. It's the dogs that it comes off. You got to give those dogs their credit because they've been able to make a name for themselves, right? We're giving you that shit up close though, you know. Second generation, you know. Smash that like button. Loose cannon. We had Thurston Jr. What you know about that? I know those guys. We had Thurston Jr. You know, this I ain't talked to them. I probably ain't talked to them in at least shit going on a diz up. You know, yeah, that old Thurston. That was a good dog. Thurston was a good dog. Little Thurston. He was, I think his name was Thurston Jr. You guys got me curious, man. You guys got me curious. I think she was off of Miss Jackson. She was off of Thurston back to Miss Jackson, if I'm not mistaken. You know. Oh, Thurston. Yeah, I can't yeah, sometimes they give you that bullshit pet online database. Yeah, you know, good times. Talking to those guys, you know. Talking to some real ones. Wes Walker, what up? Yes, sir. Fuzzy, what up, brother? CMB. Smash that button. Yeah, man. Hey, that jigsaw, hey, come on, man. It's not a game. It's not a game, man. I told y'all. Oh, no, I could show the jig. I ain't gonna show the other one. I ain't gonna show the other one. It's gonna be one you want to get your hands on right here. You're gonna want to get your hands on this right here, buddy. I bet you. You might as well skip that line and jump in front. This one just got done yesterday. Jigsaw back to Holly. Holly been producing some good dogs. You know, she got a nice amount of litters that she's put on the floor. And so far, everybody's looking pretty promising, man. So that's what we're looking for in a bitch. You know, when we pair her with that sauce, Jigsaw's everything of that sauce. That's my brother 7-8 Sports TV, the famous Doc Holliday. That's Doc Holliday's littermate brother. And that's also my girl Zika Day, man. I miss that dog, man. She I gave her to my partner, RIP Big Rob, man. Tacoma. If you from Tacoma, man, it don't matter, man. If you from out there, you know Big Rob, man. RIP Big Rob, man. He died like 2 months after I got out. You know, it was kind of crazy when I got out, just trying to catch back up and everything. So I didn't get a chance to catch up with him. But he was the one that raised Zika Day for me. And we miss her. CMB, what up, brother?
Salute.
What's going on, Cold Mountain? Yes, sir. What's cooking?
Oh, shoot, man. Just wanted to pull up and support, man.
Oh, man, I appreciate it. Yes, sir.
I finally caught you.
Wake and bake.
Yeah, I finally caught you.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it, man. Anytime you pull up, man, it's always a good time.
Even if I don't pull up, Buck, I'm always in the background listening, man. Y'all stay dropping that positive information, man. And it's what people need. It's what people need to hear, because this is not easy. And to sit back and look at somebody else's success and think that you can just, you know, buy this dog here, buy this dog there, and stick them together and emulate it. It don't work like that.
Right.
So yeah, you dropping that real knowledge, man. You dropping that real knowledge, Buck, man. I rock with you, man. Hard body.
No, that's what's up, man. I see the game. You know, everything's changing, so just try to put some of those. I guess you could say morals. Just, you know, put some of those out there so people could know how it was back in the day and just kind of respect the hard work that gets put in, you know, even if it's somebody that been holding on to that line for 10, 15 years, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's to be respected, you know. I mean, salute to all the new breeders and stuff, but there's guys out here that been putting in 20s of years and got these lines and, you know, been having these dogs, and they deserve some type of respect too. So just to let people know that those people are still out here and they still got these dogs. They still putting in that hard work. I think in these days and age, it's harder than any other time to have dogs, period. You know, that's just the climate right now, though. Yes, sir. Let me see that pet again. You know, I'm a pet junkie. But yeah, man, that sauce on the top, man, that was a sad story about my partner, man, that had Zika Day. But Jigsaw, He said, don't worry about it. He's still around to keep that blood going, coming off of that Croatina 3 back to Little Lynch. Little Lynch is arguably the tightest the Mayday Dragon Lady blood, or we could say the Yellow Dolly blood. There really ain't no dog that's tighter than this dog right here. I'm afraid to say. Well, I'm not afraid to say, but because I'm saying that shit with confidence, but just the consistency of everything going on right here is just ultimately the tightest version of it. You just can't get, you can get tighter, and they did have tighter. They had the lady doll back to like her littermate brother. There were different ones. I think May I bred to Lady Dragon. So they did have it like that, but it's not around no more. So this is what you have to go off. This is the grid that you got to go off. And you can see Lynch and how tight he is. This Dragon Lady is Mayday's littermate sister, just in case. So if we want to just tally it off of Yellow and Dolly for the guys that will say, well, yeah, that's a sister. That's not him. Okay, well, his sister's going to be closer to him than any other fucking dog that's don't even got him in the pedigree. You see what I'm saying? Like, you haven't got the same parents. It's going to be the same DNA. Like, that's the closest that you can get for the guys that like to argue early. But let's see this bitch down here. She's way at the bottom. Nobody's even paying no attention to her. Nobody never pays no attention to her, right? So we're going to pay attention to her just to see what this bottom quarter is, because we know it's 75% of that Lynch, and that's damn near pure, 75% Mayday Dragon Lady. Mayday back to his littermate sister, 75%. Doubled up twice, okay? And then right here, what do we have? You got Mayday bred back to his daughter on the top, and Mayday bred back to his daughter on the bottom, okay? That wasn't an accident. They did that shit on purpose. They purposefully did that. And I won't get into their bag and, what they was breeding and, the significance, because, at the end of the day, we know what they were breeding off. It's not a accident, right? Yellow Girl, it's not Jumper. They weren't breeding off of this dog. They're breeding off of Mayday. So I'm assuming, in the way the dogs are coming out, in the way that, the consistency and everything, I'm gonna assume, because I don't know this bitch personally. I've heard accounts on the bitch, but I didn't see her personally. So I'm gonna assume that she did her thing as far as production. So then you cross that all up in there. Everything now you really know what that bottom is. That's 4 more times Mayday on the bottom. And then you go back to the full spectrum. This, there's a story behind this. This Croatina 3, that's baby Osiris's littermate sister. You hear me talk about him a lot. It's gonna be some baby Osiris stuff popping out. Like this might be a good year, actually, to really tap in. That was a good breeding. I did it twice. Michael Myers back to that Croatina bitch, direct daughter of Grand Champion Osiris. This bitch ain't even born here. This bitch she was born in Ecuador. You feel me? I had to go out of my way. I I wasn't going to settle with just any old cross. You know, when I wanted to do my cross, I wanted that shit to be epic. So I had to go get the absolute best that money could buy at the time. You know what I'm saying? Cool. Would I make that move today? You know, my bag ain't like it was back then. You know what I'm saying? So nah, I probably won't make that move today. But that's why you make moves, so that you can make moves of yesterday and they impact today. You feel me? I don't have to make that move today because baby Osiris is still alive. Jigsaw is still alive. All right. So that Croatina 3, she was real impactful animal, right? You got the Croatina way back here, and then this is Croatina 2, and then we took Croatina 2 back to Mike to get Croatina 3, right? And we can dig all through this all we want. We know that, you know, I mean, Osiris to me was the best off of Crow. He's the best son off of Crow. So what would I do other than have direct kids off of Crow like I did? I had direct kids off of Crow, 2 of them to be exact. But we're not talking about that pedigree right now. We'll talk about that another day. You feel me? When a motherfucker think that he's really a guru and shit, and then I just come through like New York, when Corrupt and Snoop and them guys kick the fucking buildings down. You feel me? On the What the Helly TV late night. You feel me? So this is packing a whole lot, basically, in a nutshell. We're packing that a whole lot. And what's the best thing to do to take one of these daughters off of Michael Myers and the bitch transported or imported from Ecuador back to Michael Myers' half brother, Little Lynch, the only double bred Lynch dog really out there that's a double bred son at that time, because there wasn't many breedings done quite like this. Not many of them. There were some, but not many. And then at that time, because those dogs were able to get up there in age, Michael Myers and Lynch, so they were able to express, you know, the gene pool and, you know, manipulate different things and different blood and, you know, become a great force. So Jigsaw crossed down with Holly, right? It's not going to be the you know, look at the Dolly back here, Bull back here, Bumper. We'll look at this dog first. Excuse Peds is real slow right now. Pedigree Online sucks. So, you know, you got Bumper. This is Mayday's mother. So this would be Mayday's half brother, right? Bringing more of the Mayday back, right? Go back right here. So, you know, this is Mayday's half brother, right? Up close, way up close, bringing that shit up close. If you like Little John, I think he produced great. I think Little John himself, I think he produced great with the few amount of breedings that he had. He produced, well, not few, but, you know, he didn't have as many as like a Mayday or, you know, some dogs just get bred a lot. And we can't blame them, but you always got to look at those wild card dogs that don't get bred so much, but still able to produce a lot. And sometimes you got to look at the breeders, because some breeders, they're just not hitting on shit when it comes to consistency. And it's easy to have a whole bunch of dogs and be overwhelmed and not focus on traits and You know, it's like Brenda had a baby. You know, you don't know what to throw away and what to keep. You know, you're like Tupac and shit out here rapping and shit when you should be focusing on genetics and when you seeing that good dog and making those good selections, you know, you sold that one, you know, to people that you don't even got ties to. They turned out to be the best shit. That's cool, but when you're building the line, you should have been keeping that shit when you're crossing them dogs up and you know, or these dogs wouldn't be here still. If I just said, all right, fuck it, everybody could have all these Michael Myers Croatina dogs. That didn't happen though. That wasn't the case. Everybody didn't have their paws on that shit like that. You know, that shit was kept close knit. That way, 9, 10 years later, them dogs are still around, right? So let's check out this dog. You know, you got the Little John, you got all that. Then you got this Sabotage dog off of Jack Sparrow. It's really good blood, Patrick blood to the bone. You got you know, you got this Red Boy Jocko right here. Okay. You got all this Hollingsworth bull, line bred Hollingsworth. Well, that's inbred Hollingsworth bull. They did a brother sister right there. And then you know, I mean, these dogs, they're good dogs. Throwing a lot of Patrick blood in there. You're getting a lot of Patrick blood. Let me hit this one so you can see. Hollingsworth bull back there. Champion Otter. That's a lot of Tombstone, Tonka, Anderson's, Tonka, all that blood. I love those dogs. Tombstone dogs. You know, they created a lot of good dogs, got a lot of good features in those dogs. That's why I'm dealing with all that that sauce. You got to tap, and that's Backstreet. That's that sauce. So no, this one, I think this will be a good litter. First stick was yesterday. You know, you definitely could tap in on them back streets. It might be good just to get a little deposit in and get, you know what I'm saying? That way, when everything's up and ready to go and everybody's fat and looking good, you know, you did it effortlessly. You know, you jumped the line. You didn't have to wait on everybody to get their pick and all of this. You know, you took second pick or third pick, you know. First pick, you know, this might be Jigsaw Jr. I don't know. It just depends on how many other bitches we can get bred to him. But you know, the way she's bred and the content that she's bringing, and then all that Bolio Tombstone in there, and then she's got a little bit of that triple A, and you know what I'm saying, just a little splash of that hardcore, you know, that bumper, and you know, the yellow blood in there. Yeah. Yeah. I like it. Throwing more Bolio in there from that bottom half. You know, they should be real thick. They should be real thick. No genetic depression is what I'm expecting. It's different lines of dogs, good structure dogs. That Croatina, that's gonna be the X factor right there. You know, even though it's just a little tad bit, you know, and you look at the dog and it's pure enough to be a pure dog, but yeah, we got a little bit of other stuff in here. You know, there's a little bit of other dogs that go into this right here. And although we do got a nice Mayday Stone City influence on the dogs, beautiful bitch right here. Beautiful. Beautiful, man. You know, there's a lot of Mayday, Stone City, and different, you know, different dogs coming through there. You know, through this bottom half, Southern Kennel stuff right there. Then it keeps it, you know, real heavy on the Villy and the Crow. You know, all the Villy dogs, Lucius, all of those dogs got Zuza 2. I think this is yeah, that's Luke Kane's litter mate. That's Luke Kane's litter mate sister. You know, look at her. Look at that bitch. You dig? So that's what's up, man. That's gonna be a good one. That's gonna be a good one right there. Hope she have a nice, healthy litter. Every other litter, she had healthy litters. That bitch, you know, she done had healthy litter after healthy litter. So hopefully it happens. You know, of course, it's like a dice roll. You never know. But I think those would be real nice to go in and, you know, do some crosses with. If I had them, you know, I'd throw some Jeep on that shit or throw some, you know, different type of dogs on it. Of course, you can still go back with the Mayday and different stuff. You probably still get decent dogs. You want to keep an eye on them, make sure they're not showing bad genetic traits and, you know, different things like that, because, you know, you automatically know you're going into a hole, bruh. You know, there ain't that much preservation in the world, bro. Go get another one that's not, you know, or do a different cross that's not giving you that. You know, this is a good ingredient for some heavy bolio. Let's say you got those Sin City dogs. I think the breedings I saw, they done lost a lot of bone. I seen Big Cali Kennel, salute Big Cali. He got some that's because he did a nice little cross. Actually, it's like a blend slash cross, but pretty much bolio. He's got some real nice structured ones. I'll be curious to see how they turn out. But a lot of the Sin City, I see that they lose a lot of bone. So a lot of these dogs, you know, they losing a lot of bone. So you gotta, you know, this would be a good alternative. Throw some of that Mayday in there, you know, and open it up. You're gonna get some thicker dogs. They'll still have speed and power and everything with the Sin City and, you know, whatever they brought to the table, but you're gonna get a little bit more bone, you know, blockier heads, you know, longer dogs, good specimens overall. You dig? You dig? Friday. Let's get to the money. Let's get to the money, man. Friday. To these back streets. Cop the magazine. Anything we got going on is real easy. Everything's accessible. You can always text me if you got any questions about the mag. Hold up. There we go. If you got any questions about any magazines, the calendar, even though it's October, I mean February, the calendar's still dope as shit. You know, we'll definitely drop the 2027 probably mid-year so that you guys could get a hold of it way before 2026. I have a more time to promote it. But if there's anything that we got, any issues that you don't have that you're trying to get, I can personally send you the links. Just shoot me a quick text, hashtag APBT magazine. I'll know exactly what you're hitting me for, and we can get it in from there. If you're trying to get your dog in the magazine, you're trying to post your puppies, your studs, you're gonna have to have some references. I just want to know, do you keep a solid, good program, honest program? Because it's nothing like having somebody in the magazine that is doing some fraudulent shit or doing, what I'm saying, hanging papers or doing, we're not having those type of people. We don't want that. That's gonna be bad for the brand. And you gotta have some references. People gotta know you and you have done, rather if it's pup deals or anything, like the pup deal that builds up your hood credit. you know People understand you're gonna need some type of hood credit if you're maneuvering around. So a pup back deal and you come through on your end, that could be enough. That could go a long way. You got to think about that because people are appreciative um, of you coming up on your end of the deal. And there's no shake on nobody else, but don't nobody want to collaborate with you if every time you have litters, they die and shit, or every time, like, why would I want to breed my stud to your dog if I'm not even going to get nothing back? Right. So you got to look at the integrity and who you are as a person is going to ultimately catapult you to, people respecting you. It comes, respect comes with that. You're loyal, you do your end. Some dudes, I hate their blood, but the way they do business, I don't mind. If they want to do a breeding, I would deal with them because for one, I know they keep a clean environment with the puppies and they worm on time. They do, they're doing that part right. They're taking good pictures of them, beautiful setups, guys doing AIs, knowing how to do AIs, right? So I might not like their blood. Hey, I might get two back. I'll probably sell them, or maybe somebody else likes the blood in my circle. Like, yeah, man, I just got these two. I got to pick them up next week. Oh man, let me get one of those. Like, all right, send for it. You feel me? It's that simple, right? But if you don't got no hood credit, you can't do shit like that. You can't just come. Oh man, I got this bitch, man. We ain't even talking about no money. I'm gonna send that bitch down there. We gonna we're gonna get this breeding done, bro. And you call him, he want 3,000 from your ass, right? I ain't even got to mention no money. You already know what it is. I'm good. You want some of this shit anyway. For one, I ain't gonna bring nothing down there that you ain't gonna want anyway. Like, you want some of this shit. So what's up? We're gonna do this breeding. I'm gonna bust down with you. How we doing it? And actually come through on your end of the deal, bro. That's how it's done. That's how it's done, man. In real time. What y'all eating, man, for the Super Bowl? What y'all eating, man? I was thinking about I might make some nachos or some bean dip or something, you know. Get some chili nachos or something. I don't know, man. I'm getting hungry thinking about it. Check them chain spots.
We're here looking for Candyman, bitch.
Step back.
Man, them blues got me in my state. I got clientele in the Tri-Cities. LA Fitness, I be moving weight. Get your head off, take it off my plate. Man, them blues got me in my state. I got clientele in the Tri-Cities. LA Fitness, I be moving weight. Get your head off, take it off my plate. I be moving shit, all in kinetic. Got this one lady, and she live in Kennewick. She stripped in Richland, do hair and get it in. Got hoes that going for me, freedom risking. I got 2-3 hoes, they gon' get it done. This they zip code, 99301. They hit PP loans, so meant for moving O's. They in Section 8, probably never own a home. And I get it in Yakima, 98903. White bitches smoking, she gon' die about me. 98904, she my 304. 98908, that bitch train to go. And them blues got me in my state. I got clientele in the Tri-Cities. LA Fitness, I be moving weight. Get your head off, take it off my plate. And them blues got me in my state. I got clientele in the Tri-Cities. LA Fitness, I be moving weight. Get your head off, take it off my plate. I'm in a D-Star hotel, cost 133. It never occurred to me. Moving a bird at least, move 2,000 blues for that 5 a piece. I just hit that Tri-Cities like a robbery. I'm in a 99336, that weather be hot as shit. My purse be high as shit, but the feet so bright as shit. Then I drive to the 99352, I'ma make them buy these blues. Shopping out that rental car, but I still all buy by the rules. Moving in Eastern Washington, had to drive through Ellisburg. Had to stop in Lake Chelan, cause I had to sell a few birds. Tri-City bitches go for me, cause I'm hella good with these words. And you ain't even move that way, and I know it can sound absurd. And them blues got me in my state. I got clientele in the Tri-Cities. LA Fitness, I be moving weight. Get your head off, take it off my plate. Man, them blues got me in my state. I got clientele in the Tri-Cities. LA Fitness, I be moving weight. Get your head off, take it off my plate.